Are you tired of the same old sports media? Are you tired of hot takes, arguments, and questions that are just completely off base?
Luckily, we have something for you. Touchdowns and tangents of the people, for the people, by people who care about the culture and all concise commentary.
What's up, good people? Live from Hawthorne, California. It's Touchdowns and Tangents, your Thursday night spot for NFL take, topical tangents, and concise commentary for the culture. I'm PD Camarillo, and he is
Kenneth Frank James Barry.
We're a bit late, and we're a bit blind with no rundown this week, but we'll be all right. It's not our first rodeo. We've been doing this like 400 damn episodes.
We're literally, I think a week away from, the 8-year anniversary of Touchdowns and Tangents.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about. But yeah, man, we got a loaded show this week. Kenny got some original reporting. He's going to play for us in a bit. But yeah, man, without further ado, what do we got to talk about this week, Kenny? I think it's a little bit more up your alley of coverage, but I feel like the news that has both kind of dominated the news cycle, but also kind of been swept under the rug somehow at the same time. The whole Harbaugh suspension situation. You want to talk a little bit about that?
I was going to talk about that in college football, but
You just talk about it now since, that's the biggest news of the week, and you also have something completely different for college football.
Yeah, which is kind of funny when you think about it, because it comes down to it. Harbaugh essentially showed you as a coach how to get away with something. Cheating.
Get the fuck out.
Pete Carroll's like, I should have done what that guy did.
I mean, he kind of did.
He didn't, though.
How was it different?
He didn't win a national championship on the way out at SC.
Fair enough.
And then, he took the whole staff and allowed people out to dry. So when you factor in that he's getting a show cause penalty from the NCAA for I think 2 years or something like that, 2-3 years.
So yeah, in the event that he does actually have to return to college football, he'll have to sit out a substantial amount of time. So yeah, he's all in on this
venture. He's never had a losing NFL season, so probably safe to say he ain't ever going back to college football. He won a national championship at his alma mater. He can retire pretty much after this next NFL stint. People are saying, and they're showing that Bane meme where his brother's going to get off the plane and Bane's like, one of us is expected in the wreckage, brother. Pretty much. You're going to stay behind and catch all the heat, which, ironically, I think I played my question to Shamaron Moore from Michigan at Big Ten Media Day. Ironically, about what was harder, filling out your staff as a head coach or, keeping the ship running as an interim coach. He had kind of spoke to, how one was definitely harder than the other, especially when it's your show and you're running everything. And pretty much, the mentality that Michigan has going into the season, they'll find a way to be like, nobody believed in us. That whole trope.
Yeah, I think the thing for Michigan though is why don't they have to, forfeit any wins?
Well, it was came out and proven that Sharon Moore deleted over 73 has between him and old boy.
That's what I'm saying. So why don't they have to give up some wins?
Sound because apparently the texts were just kind of gratuitous in nature, and really just kind of nasty, like some not safe for work type shit that has nothing to do. It would almost be like phishing if they brought those texts out, because if there was actually something
Yeah, but what I'm
damning in
saying
the text
is,
messages, I think Sherrod Moore would have
what I'm
already been
saying is
penalized.
though, like if we're making this a big deal, like why punish something that maybe not happen, and why not go back and retroactively punish the team like the NCAA always has?
Because
That's what I don't get.
Because they can't do that because we're in a different era and that double jeopardy shit don't work. That reverse double, like you can't go back and punish me for a crime you think I committed.
I guess.
There's no new evidence.
I guess that's part of the reason why he also did kind of step to the side and proactively punish himself, so that it would be.
He let the Big Ten Conference punish
So
him.
it would be easier on the current team and players. So I mean, I guess it makes sense. But yeah, for me,
Because what is this?
it just seems like other teams have done less and gotten more.
I mean, the
I don't
SEC
know,
been
but the
doing dirt for how
NCAA
long?
just doesn't really have a.
Bama never got hit.
Doesn't
with
really have a standard of discipline. They kind of just do whatever the fuck they want.
Or when it comes to fairness, or
Exactly. Yeah.
like you really got to sit back and be like, let's be real. What if they
Really took a monumental decision by the Supreme Court to basically give Reggie his Heisman back. And even after that, it still took them years and coercing into doing it.
Now it's still back at SC, but he's still not he's welcome back, but his records aren't being officially reinstated and allowed. Even though USC can retire his jersey, they can hang his Heisman up now.
But yeah, man, some other news from training camp this week. Just some headlines that I was reading about. But there's rumors, and Derwin James joked about it, that the Chargers might be putting in a package for him on offense. Some Wildcat situations, which...
Why?
Yeah.
That's a hat. That's a hat on a hat. In his case, that's an injury on an injury.
Not just that, but I feel like, I don't know, I think it just speaks to how desperate they are to find some offensive weapons. But it's like, you could have just signed some guys.
Peppers.
You could have made a trade. Like, you could have did something. Not relying on your off-injured safety to come and save the day when he already has to save your whole back end.
He's not Jabril Peppers. He's better than Jabril Peppers as a safety, but he's not that offensive kind of guy. He's not Miles Jack. So why would he be getting the ball? He wasn't playing offense at Florida State. So what are we talking about here? What are we doing?
Supposedly Bud Dupree has had a standout camp, even though he's been working with the twos. They said he's really been mentoring Thule. He said he's been really...
Wait, Bud Dupree's in the Chargers? Holy
yeah.
shit.
Said he's really been just supplying the energy. Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa are more like technicians. They're just kind of blue collar, bring your lunch pail guys.
Bud Dupree
Thule's kind of like a quieter, more introverted player. So Bud Dupree has really just kind of been leaving an impression as being like the energetic, fiery, rah-rah guy. The drills. And supposedly it's really elevated the whole vibe of the defense. So see what happens there. Up north, I mean, the talk of Niners camp has obviously been Brandon Ayuk's hold in. They're calling it now. Trade talks heated up a little bit. Chargers, Browns had met the 49ers price point, which I think was basically like a second-round pick and a starting receiver. Ayuk basically turned the Patriots down. They didn't want to offer him enough money, didn't give him a good enough chance to win. The Browns trade fell through. they were offering up Amari Cooper, who's a little bit older, and also in contract negotiation for his own new deal.
After a career year.
So, yeah, I don't know. What do you think of it, Kenny?
I think it's not gonna really matter until like the third preseason game. Because then it's like, okay, if Ayuk is doing a hold in, Ricky Pearsall's-Man getting hurt, like, what is your offense? It's going to be Christian McCaffrey again. Like, Kittle's going to get more catches. So I think Ayuk is running out of options. He's not going to get to go where he wants to go. If he wanted to force a trade to the Chargers, it would have been way smarter to do it back then.
Yeah, I don't think they wanted to match the price and pay him. That's the thing is you not only got to give up draft picks, but you also have to be willing to pay him. And at this point, I feel like it's really just going to come down to a team that's desperate because, it's so late in the offseason, he's going to have to learn a whole new playbook. And as far as Ayuk, like, if you're so concerned with winning, like, just stay 1 year, play out the contract, win a Super Bowl finally. In theory, Quest for 6 has only been taking 20 years, but I digress. So set on winning, the best chance of that happening is where you're at. I think teams like the Commanders had pulled out. I think the Chargers had pulled out too.
I don't think the Commanders were ever a serious pick.
Yeah, well, they were officially ruled out.
You weren't going to trade Scary Terry for him because that's a bad trade. You're not trading Dotson for him because then that just creates another problem. A rookie QB throwing to 2 Pro Bowl receivers. So, like, he could have picked New England and just said, you know what? Hey, I'm going to trust the process, and the Patriots got to give me the ball. But now it's like, all right, bro, the Steelers ain't happening. The Steelers will walk away from the table. You don't have much leverage left. So you either want to get paid and you don't care if you win the Super Bowl or not, or you're willing to give this one last go-around. I think he's going to cave before the Niners do.
What do you really value? What business are you really willing to stand on?
And it's sad because, like, in Devin White's interview on, with Ryan Clark and the Pivot, he's like, my dad died before we had that London trip, and I still played. And then, it got, like, they started leaking out, false things about me as a player to the media to mess up my contract in Tampa. But I've only been with the Eagles for a couple months, not even 6 months. And I'm already on the leadership council for the Eagles. So was I really a problem in Tampa Bay? It's excellent points, which in Tampa Bay, Yaya Diaby, he's going to be out for like 4 to 6 weeks because of an ankle injury. But, injuries, training camp injuries popping up all over. Like, the Falcons lost Rondale Moore. He had a really bad, knee injury. He's out for the year.
Yeah, I saw that.
You got guys tearing ACLs left and right.
Yeah, speaking of, the story of the Rams camp thus far has been kind of injuries.
All over the place.
They had 6 injuries all along the offensive line.
8.
Something like that. All pretty much ankle sprains.
And it was.
I was listening to Dr. Clapper on ESPN LA today, and he was like, they asked him, they were like, if something like that happens where it's same players, the same positions, same sort of injury, like,
who could even
what do you look at? And he's like, well, look at what's connecting the foot to the ground. it's either the surface or it's the shoes or maybe they're overexerting themselves, overdoing something, but that's highly unlikely.
It's the surface.
More than anything, it's the surface and the things that connect it more than the training.
At
Usually,
Loyola
training
Marymount.
doesn't really have anything to do with it.
At Loyola Marymount, by the way.
So we'll see what happens. But yeah, Puka Nakua was one injury that happened.
He's week to week. He hurt his bursitis sac.
Yeah, so he's expected to make a full recovery before week 1. Pretty much their knee just has to drain the fluid, and then he should be good to go.
So for people who don't know, the bursitis sac is pretty much that sac of fluid in your knee that keeps your bones.
Well, it's pretty much in
scissoring.
all your key joints. So you have one in your wrist, you have one in your elbow, you have one in your ankle, you have one in your knees, you have one in your hip. So
that shit keeps
if they can get inflamed and fill up with even more fluid, and then at some point, if there's some sort of impact, they'll pop.
And you can lose your whole leg.
No, you don't. That's not what happens.
No, like, because Dylan Johnson, Dylan Johnson had a bunch of injuries, but he was playing on like a bursitis sac that was about to burst.
It's perfectly fine.
Bursa
you can
sac.
play on it.
Bursa sac. Yo, but he, in the title game, he was limping. They shot him up
It's not structural. You don't need shots. It's painful, but it's not that painful.
He had other injuries. He had other injuries around the knee.
Once it pops, it heals, and it just takes like a week or 2 to heal, and then you're back to full strength.
But he was
really just pain.
He was worst case scenario because Dylan Johnson had like a foot injury, a knee injury, and a bunch of other shit on top of the bursa sac. So it was if this structurally goes, the rest of his knee is not going to hold up. And he still tried to play on it.
But yeah, and then as far as the Raiders camp, the big story, the ongoing story, Kenny and I have been quietly shouting for everyone who will fucking listen, is the Raiders still don't have a fucking quarterback.
The offense is garbage.
All reports from camp indicate that neither Aiden O'Connell nor Gardner Minshew has been that great in camp.
The Raiders defense is making the Raiders offense call them daddy.
The initial reports were if Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew finished in a tie, Aiden O'Connell was going to win the job because, one, he had already won the respect of the locker room by playing as rookie last year, and two, he's obviously younger, homegrown talent. But, from every indication, Gardner Minshew has been underwhelming, even for Gardner Minshew. And Aiden O'Connell, while he's made some strides, he's still making a lot of errors.
He's Indian. It's Minshew.
Whatever.
he's not he's a white dude.
So yeah, we'll see what happens with the Raiders quarterback situation, but nobody should really be surprised. I mean, someone I follow on Twitter put it this way. He's like, I expected Raiders fans to fight about Minshew versus Aiden O'Connell for sure, but I never expected Raiders fans to pretend like the quarterback situation wasn't dire.
I mean, we've pretty much been dealing with a dire quarterback situation
for about 2 decades.
Yeah. What else you gonna hurt us with?
But yeah, we can get more into the Seahawks training camp a little bit later. But yeah, so I guess we can just jump into college football.
Dun, dun, dun. So I had the pleasure of interviewing appointed Long Beach Woodrow Wilson High School head football coach Travis Clark. That name sounds familiar. Still the only African American head coach in high school to win a CIF state championship in California history, which is crazy when you think about it. All the coaches that have won CIF championships, the only black one at the level that he won it at, which was like Division 2A. Because I remember Crenshaw went, but they lost. And think, oh, Long Beach Poly. Long Beach Poly had Lars, their head coach, who's a Latino dude, and now he's at uh, Modern Day. So you kind of just gotta really think about like, damn, that's a hell of a feat. He talked about, and this is we talked like literally a year ago, uh, literally 365 days. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. But talked about Londale, uh, how he felt, how that situation played out, amongst other things, and let's just say he wasn't happy about it. But he's also was like, I don't even think about Londale anymore. Close that chapter, but yeah, it's about 45 minutes. Going to preview about 2.5 minutes of it right now. Make sure. Yes, there we go. And away we go. All right. This is Touchdowns and Tangents. Kenneth Barry here. It's been almost about a year to the day since I last talked to this man, Coach Travis Clark, uh, formerly of Lawndale High School, all-time winningest coach in school history, state titles. You can go back and listen to all the old interviews. We've already covered that part, but now he's here, the head coach of Long Beach Wilson High School, Woodrow Wilson, one of the oldest high schools in the country, if I'm not mistaken, like 447 more league championships. I gotta run down the list. It's kind of crazy. Um, doing my research the other day, and it's 47 more league championships, 67 CIF championships, 4 CIF state championships, 2 CIF state Southern California regional championships, 2 national championships, 17 Olympiads, 42 Olympians, famous alumni. Coach, when we last talked, you were at Lawndale. You said, everything that they're building up here, new athletic facilities. It's great that I helped spark the change for this, but I'm probably not going to be around to see it. Lo and behold, months later, was it around like May, June? The announcement comes out. You're not stepping down as the coach at Lawndale. Long Beach Wilson's is the next destination. They actually threw you a ceremony at Lawndale. I just want to know, with everything that you've been through in the past year and how everything ended at Lawndale, how do you feel today? And what was that whole experience like this past year?
That's a good question. Before I even get into that, I just wanted to make sure I interject that all of those accomplishments, resume stuff with Long Beach Wilson, none of those are football championships. So they've never had a CIF championship here, nor a regional. They've only had 8 board league titles. So it's a very historic high school. Been here a long time, 100 years to be exact. But we've got a lot of work to do on the gridiron. With that being said, how I feel today is I feel amazingly blessed. Less than I was a year ago when I was talking to you. I had a lot of stress. I was caught cooped up in an office. Didn't have a lot of support. Felt like people were trying to run me out of town, and I couldn't understand it because I was just doing positive things over for the Lawndale community. So it was very frustrating, to say the least. I think we all know that when you feel unwanted, you don't feel like you're being respected. It was a tough year for me, especially with the situation where I was moved to Lusinger High School to teach, yet to continue to coach at Lawndale High School just was a fiasco to me that I just didn't understand why that occurred. If I look into it deeply, there's only a couple of reasons why that would happen. It's because you don't want the football program to be successful and you don't want to help kids move on to the next level, or You don't want the football program to be successful if you don't want kids to move on to the next level. Those are the only two reasons why you would not support something that's been so positive and uplifting for that community over the last 7 years. You know, there were so many lives changed within that span, 7 to 8 years. So many lives changed, so many opportunities for kids that may not have had those opportunities without the presence of some of the coaching staff, some of the kids that we inspired and encouraged to show up at Lawndale High School, and they had so many other options in the area, like Sarah, like Lusinger, like Hawthorne, you know, El Segundo, the list goes on. And they chose Lawndale because they wanted to play for a great coaching staff and a coach that cared for them and wanted them to get to the next level. So it was frustrating. But this, you know, coming out of nowhere, you know, it's been a blessing for me. It's been a stress relief. I've been welcomed with open arms. I'm so excited, trying to bring our culture, trying to bring, you know, our style of play, our style of approach to this high school football game over here at Wilson is really exciting. You know, obviously, you know, Long Beach Poly, Long Beach Milliken, Long Beach Jordan, those programs have been on top of the mountain, so to speak, within this football world. I'm a visitor, so I'm excited to get over here and shake it up a little bit, mix up the pot a little bit, and get some people angry, because we know we're going to play hard, we're going to play with discipline, and we definitely want to win. So it's going to be an exciting time. Yes, we're behind the 8 ball. We're a little behind. A lot of these programs have been working and moving, but catch up like the rabbit.
And you talk.
That's all for the preview. I was just getting.
That was just 5. That was just 5 minutes. That was just the first 5 minutes. And again, he elaborated a lot on Lawndale. I can't wait for you guys to all hear this. I was kind of like, should I paywall this? Should I make people pay for this content? But I'm also like, no, the streets need to hear this, for real, for real. After coming from Big 12 Media Day. And I played what Jalen Daniels said, and Coach Clark just smiled. And he's like, man, you know you're a part of history, right? Like, you've been chronicling these kids' lives since they were sophomores and juniors in high school. Thule's in the league now. Like, you said, one thing he said that I'm going to touch on, he said, they took away a lot of things from me as head coach at Lawndale, but they could never take away the relationships. Like, you went to Lawndale. You know, I didn't know you before that. Like, we linked up, you reached out to me, and, you know, you helped put a lot of things out there for us. So, you know, I'm grateful that, you know, we've managed to maintain that relationship and be able to, you know, he gave me 45 minutes of his time. I only played the first 5 minutes of the interview. Let me just tell you, because I got some articles and stuff I'm going to be writing. Hope you guys really enjoy these community conversations. Because me personally, like, I don't get to do as much high school reporting as I would like. And I'm pretty sure Pete, just being from the IE, hell, he's had on people from the IE. We've had on Josh. You know, there's a lot we could speak to, and I feel like not many people are covering it the way we cover it. So, you know, just want y'all to really keep in mind, I walked on that campus at Long Beach Wilson. It's already a beautiful high school. Beautiful. It's small, but it's beautiful. Great facilities. They already have a girls' flag football team. They already have all that rolling. Him and Dr. Paula Rodas spearheaded getting college football, or not college football. They spearheaded getting girls' flag football to, you know, essentially be considered a legalized sport in California. Like, they helped push women's flag football forward, Coach Clark and himself. And I think people are going to have a different appreciation, because he really doesn't brag. But he also talked about how like his offensive coordinator from last year, Tyler Steddick, got the head coaching job at his alma mater, Mary Star, where he was a starting quarterback. And he talked about how like he has a big coaching tree. You know, one of his former assistants is the head coach at Lusinger. And he did say, I'm just give y'all a little bit more insight, then we're going to move on. He said, I really feel bad for Lawndale and for what that administration did to those kids because they ruined a lot of kids' lives. He talked about how his running back who came with him, some of his players transferred to Long Beach Wilson before he ever even got the job. So he's like, somehow they kind of knew, you know, clairvoyance, I guess. But he talked about how, you know, Deuce Weston, who's seen as like a 4-star running back, he lost a lot of scholarships because since Coach Clark was he was so busy at Lusinger, you know, when coaches from Pac-12 schools and other schools come up there to see him about some of his players, you know, he's not there to talk to the coaches and make those introductions because the school moved him to Lusinger. And he said, I started out as a football coach. I just wanted to coach football. But I've become a teacher. I've developed a love for teaching through all this work with football, and it's made me a better. He's like, it's made me a better person, and it's made me like a better coach. So yeah, I'm excited for what you guys are gonna hear. I'm gonna drop a couple articles, give you some up to date info. Like, hey, here's how we got here, and then when you listen to the whole 45-minute interview, I just know that maybe you guys should start asking the Centinela Valley School District some questions about funds and how things are being doled out. Because he said a lot of things. He did not mince words when it came to how he feels about the Centinela Valley School District. And I think, we talk about how they say all politics are local. Well, there's politics in high school sports, too. And when the winningest coach in school history gets forced out after a bad season because he was put in a horrible predicament and all his players lost their scholarships and now all of them are at junior colleges, and he's like, their lives were irreversibly changed and they had nothing to do with it. They didn't do anything wrong. He said, I couldn't be around, some of my kids who had scholarships and, I wasn't on him about his grades because I wasn't there. And, there's a lot of stuff that eats at him, but he's like, I'm going to do something. It's almost like a third life because he's like, he compared it to when he was at Santa Monica's. That's his alma mater. That's where he's from. And then lastly, he made a joke, but he's kind of serious. He said, there's a lot of controversy going on at Utah State, his alma mater, where he is like tied for fourth all time with interceptions. Career interceptions with like 15, I think. And then he kind of made some NFL camps, but he got hurt. But he was like, I was a better QB than I was a safety, but at the time, in LA, like athletes, great DBs or whatever, they weren't allowed to play quarterback. And I think that speaks directly to all the young black quarterbacks who he's helped molded into getting to college, especially Kansas quarterback Jalen Daniels, and everything that he's done at Kansas. Like, that kid's an NFL prospect and definitely probably going to get a Senior Bowl invite on the strength of what he's done. And like he has an NFL arm, great athleticism, and to think he's only been playing quarterback since his junior year of high school, and he's a senior now in college, that's insane. So, yeah. Right, I can cry. I've been interviewing Coach Clark. It's crazy, almost 10 years now.
All right, anything else you want to say on just college football broader?
Yeah, we're about 3 weeks away. less than 3 weeks away.
Something like that, yeah, some change.
Again, I'm going to play some of the stuff that I got the closer we get, some of these season openers, especially with the Big Ten. I think it's only right you guys hear it. I'm excited about this college football season. The Big Ten has 18 teams in it. There are 4 conferences with like 16 teams in it. So we're gonna, especially with how much EA college football we've been playing, I think people are going to be more emotionally tied to college football than ever this season. And I think with the interviews I've gotten, like people are going to really flock to and appreciate these athletes and especially these Mountain West teams, Mountain West players, more so than ever. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, man. Well, it's time for Take Your Tangent. All right, first one up, we got Saints linebacker Pete Werner agrees to a 3-year contract extension, $25 million, including $17.5 guaranteed. Take your tangent, Kenny.
Great deal for one of their best young linebackers. But one thing the Saints do is they swap out young, talented players for old ones on this defense. I'll tell you that much. So that's quite interesting. And I think it's exactly what they needed. So, especially for a team in salary cap hell. Derek Carr's contract does not help anything.
Yeah, for sure. And I also think Mario Davis ain't any younger. So,
nope.
Someone in the middle of the defense, keep everything going. And yeah, I think to what you said, Saints have drafted decent. They've had some misses, but overall, the hits make up for the misses. All right. Seahawks added Connor Williams, former center guard with the Dolphins and Cowboys. Take your tangent, Kenny.
Great signing, actually. Come in and probably be their best center. Or in a pinch can play some guard. Either way, he upgrades that offensive line. And it's $3 million guaranteed, $6 million if it works out. On a 1-year deal. A lot of smart choices being made by the Seahawks so far.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was honestly kind of surprised he was available this long. I think he had an injury. I think that's part of the reason why it took him so long to sign.
ACL.
And he actually was looking like he was playing his best football of his career with Miami before he got hurt. Dallas, he was kind of up and down, moved positions a couple times, but it seemed like he was finally starting to get right. So we'll see what happens. Seattle always needs offensive linemen, so might as well add a versatile one. But yeah. All right. Anything else you want to add for the segment before we move on?
No, I can wait for it till later in the show.
Well, we're kind of at the later in the show, so.
I mean, I was talking about fade or fair. But this is like the part of training camp where other cats getting hurt, and I got to catch up on Hard Knocks. The Bears. And the Giants, honestly. Got to catch up on both those.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to say. Touchdown or turnover. The 2 Hard Knocks going on. But clearly, if you haven't seen it, I never watch it, so.
Caleb is going to be on a pitch count. And I think not a lot.
Is he going to play?
Probably not.
I doubt it.
But the Ravens already said Derrick Henry's not playing the preseason. A lot of guys aren't going to be playing preseason. That Raiders one is going to be interesting because they have so much O-line depth that I think people are going to be lulled into a false sense of security. It's going to be like, oh, the Raiders are the number 1 rushing team in the NFL in the preseason? Yes, because their starters are 2s and 3s going up against dudes who aren't going to make the roster. So, yeah, if, like, Alexander Madison breaks off an 80-yard run, don't expect that during the season.
Happens every year.
Like, the Ravens are the only team where it's like what they look like in the preseason is probably what they're going to be in the regular season. You just add Lamar Jackson. So, and there have been rumors like in Patriots camp that Joe Milton looking better than Drake May out here.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Only the Raiders took, Joe Milton when they had the chance because they had a chance, like several chances.
The 49ers brought in Chosen Anderson, veteran receiver, touchdown or turnover.
I think turnover because he hasn't really done much since he had that 1,000-yard season. He's been going to team and changing his name.
Facts.
And the production's been pretty lackluster. And the 49ers have 14 wide receivers on their roster. T.O.'s son just got hurt. He's out like 5 to 7 weeks.
They said he was balling in camp. They said he looked really good.
He's out like 5 to 7 weeks.
He actually had a real shot at making the roster.
Now he's probably going to be on practice squad all year.
The Saints brought in Justin Simmons for a visit. Touchdown or turnover?
Turnover. Where are you going to play at? Tyrann Mathieu is arguably a Hall of Famer.
He's on the cusp.
Look at his stats. He's a Hall of Fame safety. In terms of where he started, being 5'8", corner to safety, putting together legendary, like a great run, Heisman candidate, doing everything that he does. Like, it's kind of crazy when you think about it.
Harrison Butker gets a $25.5 million deal, 4-year extension with the Chiefs. Touchdown or turnover?
I mean, it's a touchdown. He's the highest paid kicker in the league now. And I just find it funny that, like, Mahomes, like Morgan Waller, the white dude, country music artist, who said the N-word with the hard R because that's how he really feels about black people. He had a concert and he came out with a Harrison Butker jersey. He's like, don't let people tell you to be a certain way, blah, blah, blah. You know when white people who are really racist just say shit like they're the victim?
Yeah.
He came out and he popped that shit and he brought them out. And if I'm Mahomes, I'm like, this is why people question your blackness, dude. You just around a bunch of white people who like to say the N-word with the hard R and got fucked up views about women around you. But, you know, hey, at least you're on baby number 4 with your wife.
Damn, they already have 4 kids?
Hope she doesn't divorce you because you're going to lose everything, my guy.
He has 4 kids?
Yep. Popped 4 kids.
It's crazy.
Ain't wasting no time. Hopefully it works out, though.
They said his dad was in a hot Cheeto outfit in the liquor store. They said
That was Drake's dad.
Oh, my bad.
That was Dennis Graham.
My bad.
Dennis Graham, monkey suit nigga made him.
All right, last one. Titans signed Quadri Diggs to a 1-year
Dennis
deal.
left at 5, Drake. Hell of a dad thing.
Worth $5 million. Touchdown or turnover.
The Titans is where old safeties can go to get their last leg.
Didn't they sign Jamal Adams?
Yes, and he.
So they literally just caught the whole Seattle's secondary.
And it's like, yeah, they look like an 89 together, but they're really a 79 because their injuries.
Their durability is a 35.
Exactly. And all I'm saying is, you got him, and you got whatchamacallit.
I mean, the good thing is
They got Amani Watt. Like, they have a bunch of
The
safeties
good thing
already.
is you can play those guys in hybrid roles though. Like you can play Diggs in a you know like third safety kind of role.
He can play anywhere.
Yeah, you can play Jamal Adams in kind of like a linebacker hybrid role.
Jamal Adams said he did not re-sign with the Seahawks because they wanted him to change positions. They wanted him to play linebacker. He didn't want to. Somebody should tell him, buddy, your coverage is not good. It wasn't that great at LSU.
You're the Rod Whitsons of LaRon Landry's.
You're the Rod Wave of
He's
safeties.
the Rod Woodson of LaRon
No,
Landry's.
he's the Rod Wave of safeties.
Did you hear me though? Do you get it?
It was great, but he's the Rod Wave of safeties.
He's not that fat. That's crazy.
No. See, Rod Wave is depressed no matter what you do, but his music is great. I don't listen to Rod Wave because I don't need
Kids
that.
do.
I don't need that in my life. I already have enough negativity.
All right. Well, on that note, fair or fade. First one I got is so there's a lot of headlines about Seahawks practice today. Basically, they got into a scrap, and DK Metcalf swung his helmet at someone. So
that's nothing.
Fair or fade. Swing your helmet in a practice summer fade.
That's fine. I mean, if they make you angry enough, but I can top that, right? You ready? Did you see the footage of the Appalachian State player who
didn't.
He ripped an offensive lineman's helmet off and smacked him in the fucking face with it? I mean, that man went down. That man went down like blood clot crying. Like that's crazy. It's like if there were like the footage of Bill Romanowski breaking Roland Williams' jaw, like that man probably still running stadium steps because he ripped that helmet smooth off and went boom right across that motherfucker's face. You just see his body go limp a little bit. Like, it's camp fights happen. I think there's a reason why I didn't have camp my senior year, mostly because I was injured and ineligible. But I'm pretty sure I would have been ripping helmets off and throwing punches my senior year. I definitely kind of was my junior year because people kept ripping my practice gear on purpose. Like my teammates all would just collectively rip my shirt during practice. So one day I body slammed the motherfucker and tried to break his neck. I said, "I hope you die on the way down." It was bad. It was not a healthy environment. So I understand fights happen. If anybody understands,
and that's why you went 5-6.
Oh no, that's nothing compared to like the fist fight that happened on the bus after the playoff game ass whooping with Santa Maria on the way back. All I want to say is,
y'all were just catching L's and then catching friendlies after.
It wasn't friendly. It was like our starting middle linebacker loved cracking jokes on motherfuckers, and he hit our starting running back who had the worst game of his life, and he was like getting looks from UCLA, but he definitely never had the grades. So it was really just a pipe dream, and he ran a 4.8. But on game speed, he looked like he ran a 4.6.
Damn, you a hater.
I'm not a
you
hater.
Retroactively hating.
Not hating. He works at the airport now. He's a good dude, though. It's like we were just a ragtag group of kids who accomplished something greater than ourselves in the midst of unbelievable adversity. I think that's probably why I became a sports journalist, because I was like, hold on. You telling me all this shit was going... By the way, yeah. Oh, another thing. Lawndale was barred from having a quarterback club. They didn't have a booster...
I don't know what a quarterback club is.
They didn't have a booster club at Lawndale High.
I've seen a quarterback club, but I've never...
It's a booster club.
What the fuck it is.
But they call it the quarterback club. It's a booster club. So it's the same thing. But like, Lawndale lost their booster club status because the guy who was running it was, making... fucking pretty much stealing money in so many words.
Get in line.
This ain't alleged either. I went there. My old homie went there. He suffered through it. Lost out on a scholarship because of shit that was going on. So I don't have to say allegedly. I wish a motherfucker would come sue me. I'll go call my former high school coach right now. I'll turn this shit to a real expose.
All right, bro. You're on like a tangent within 3 tangents. We were talking about the Seahawks. Somehow you made it all about yourself.
No, I made it about...
No, you literally made it all about yourself.
I made it about training camp
You were
violence.
talking about training camp 10 years ago.
Fights. No.
Half these teams don't even have double days anymore, bro.
Actually, they do.
Half of them don't.
They quietly brought them back.
Like, half of them don't,
It's virtually not really double days like we had to go through. Or we were banging each other's faces for 3 hours straight.
No, but just in general, a lot of teams don't have it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Not anymore, but the ones that do, like I was watching Long Beach Wilson's 2 days. I was there. That was their first day of 2-day practice. Teams are starting to hit this week. But speaking of fights, training camp fights, hey, bro, what's the worst training camp fight you had when you were in high school? Because I know y'all had them. All them goddamn 4-star receivers. I know a DB was getting cooked at practice. And was
we never really had any big ones. It was always just kind of like, pushing and shoving. You never had like a real on like training camp, bro.
Oh, y'all were pussy. Okay, I got it.
I mean, we had a lot of, hey, stop holding me and hitting each other after.
You let go. No, you let go. You let go.
Like shit like that. But
everybody let go. No, everybody chop your feet. Fuck. I hate you guys. Why do you always do this? All you have to do is you can start the fight after practice. I'm having training camp PTSD now. Our fights were, when we got punished for fighting, it was some stupid shit. Like, we laughed at each other afterwards. Like, did we really just get in trouble for that? And our coaches were sitting there like, weren't they just taking each other's heads off? Why are they all smiling with each other now? Like, we were a very abusive family, but a loving one. Shout out to everybody from my high school teammates who are doing great things in life. Dudes are like dads and shit. Dudes are like better dads than their dads were to them. Some of them didn't have fathers.
That's how it should be, man. That's the goal, right?
It's like we all did that, and our common goal together, we played football.
I'm just accepting this is a rebuilding year, and I'm about to have 6 losses, bro.
You're gonna get fired.
I can't win with this team.
You want to get fired? Yes, you can. You just want to get fired. You don't want to. You're running from the grind. It's crazy.
I just literally.
You're 0-2, and you're running from the grind. Your OC's getting fired, or you're getting fired.
You're right, though.
You think this is a game?
The red field is hard to play on. I'm not gonna lie.
That shit's giving me astigmatism, bro. I'm all squinting and shit for no reason. Stop wearing red on red. You can't even see.
What was worse is when I was playing Stanford and they were wearing red too.
You could have just wore black. That's when you do the blackout. Yeah, but if it's black on red, it should be easier to play defense. But also, they're running.
All right, man. You have anything else to add for Fair or Fade?
Yeah, the entire Inglewood community versus Hard Summer. Wrote like a bunch of articles.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's a fade because
that noise pollution.
I couldn't really hear much, and I'm closer than El Segundo, bro.
We're in the middle of Hawthorne, and I heard that shit.
And literally, El Segundo was like literally complaining about it. So
yeah, I heard that shit from my window. But it was
nobody gives a fuck about El Segundo. Period.
That's it's the part of El Segundo that's Hawthorne. It's not really El Segundo though. It's just like run El Segundo Boulevard. But like,
no. They said the city of El Segundo.
Yeah, they were complaining, but it's like, hey, El Segundo, fuck you, you sundown town. Yeah, El Segundo's still a sundown town. Don't play it cute.
I don't know about that. I can't speak to that, but yeah.
You haven't been in certain parts of El Segundo by yourself late at night. Pick. Cas. There you go. See,
I try not to think about El Segundo, period.
Yeah, but they have such great ice cream spots.
That's the dude who's 99 overall. I moved to receiver, and now he's my starting corner.
Wait, that dude's a 99 overall receiver?
No, 99 speed.
I'm about to say, like, I'll slap you. I'll fight you.
He was like a 72 receiver, and now he's an 83 corner.
The backdrop of that mountain for that stadium is really cool. We're really doing free promo for EA Sports right now. Anyway, I got one last one.
Go for it.
The West Coast and TDE versus Canada. So Sir is another artist from LA who was also at the pop-up concert. He's like the fourth person. Sir, I think Sir was there.
She didn't perform.
I said Sir.
Oh, Sir, my bad.
SZA was there, but she was like incognito in the crowd. You know she's a terrible liar. She can't hide. Like SZA, we know that BBL. We know it's you. Sexy ass. We know it's you. But yeah, pretty much Drake owns that venue. Like he owns that venue. And the one in particular, like Schoolboy Q's got canceled, Sir's got canceled. Yeah, LA artists apparently just aren't allowed to Canada. And honestly, I think we should press the line. Like Canadian artists should be like, I might die if I come to LA. We need to bring that energy back. Drake should not feel safe. Him, Adonis, nobody. Since we can't go to Canada and make money, okay, you can't come to America and make money. Your life should be in danger. Dennis should worry about getting popped on by some young dude.
And Team USA lost to France.
In what?
Olympics.
Not in basketball.
Yeah, they did. In the Olympics.
Wait, they lost the gold medal game?
No, they lost the semis. Canada lost. Canada lost.
Oh, yeah, Canada. I'm about to say, yeah, because Canada lost, yeah.
They got eliminated by
France.
France.
America beat Serbia. But yeah,
But Canada had more
talent, way more talent.
NBA players than any other team in Olympics
And they were pushing on Rudy Gobert
besides
and shit.
Team USA.
Yeah. Also, last one, this is my last one. Brian Pumper, notorious weirdo, porn star. Also has some alleged. I think he just got out of jail on like an alleged rape charge or some kind of charge, allegedly, but it was definitely involving sexual assault. Apparently, like some dudes egged him, and he didn't even sell it. Like he got mental issues. He's not all there, but he's been known. Like more women. Like if you live in LA, if you're from LA, you know Brian Pumper was on the red line and the blue line and all these different trains, passing out business cards to girls he thought were cute, and then he was fucking them and putting the videos on the internet. And some of these chicks were like 16, 17, 8. Like he was talking to underage girls. He was giving his cards out to underage girls. This I cannot be sued for because there are too many witnesses and women who, like people who are witnesses to it. Like we just know, especially in Northridge, like he stay on the red line. He's like, oh, he's looking cute. Especially like in Hollywood, like he was just passing out his business card. I don't think Buddy's ever owned a car, but he's been on some sketch shit, and yeah, they some young kids was like throwing eggs at him. It's all on video. So if anybody has a weird case, it's that dude. He's still around, but he got a weird ass case. Don't let him talk to your young daughters or nieces. Or nephews, for that matter. Like, if you see Brian Pumper, go the other way. That's just a free tip. That's some free game for you. But yeah, that's the end of. That's all I got.
All right, man. So let's move into the rants. First thing I'm gonna say is fuck Oregon, fuck Ohio State, fuck Stanford, fuck UAB, fuck any team that's beat my CSUN team in the past week.
Well, Hawaii beat you too.
Hawaii, yeah, I forgot them. That's a good one.
That's crazy.
Thanks for that. That was a gem.
You deserve to get fired.
That was a gem. But yeah, man. Spent a couple hours, created my uniforms, created my stadium. It was the first time.
A couple hours? You spent like 3 days on that shit.
It was the first time Kenny ever looked me in the eye and shook my hand and said I did a nice job.
He said I was proud of you.
He said I represented the set well, which was the highest honor I could have asked for.
And then he tarnished all the respect I had for him.
But yeah, man.
He simmed.
So basically,
I've been to Oregon 3 times. This man simmed it.
Basically, I actually simmed every game over the first 2 seasons. My goal was to simulate the first 4 seasons, but year 3, my team decided to start off 0-2, and I need to win the Rose Bowl and I need to win the conference because the past 2 years I've collapsed either in the conference game or I collapsed versus Oregon, who's in my division. I don't know why I put Oregon in my division, but Oregon's in my division.
Because as a man,
so Oregon beat me and basically won out. So they played in the Pac-12 championship game.
Beat Boise.
And I was ineligible, even though I had a higher rating than them.
You were the number 1 team in the country, and you were
I couldn't play in the conference
5th
game.
seed in the fucking college football playoff. That was crazy.
And I still somehow blew it again to Oregon in the playoff.
Didn't Bama beat Nebraska?
Yeah. Bama beat Nebraska for the title.
Put Nebraska in the Mountain West, which is so blasphemous.
Mountain West Nebraska's sick. Like, they're literally a top 5 team every year. Mountain West Nebraska is different, bro.
Mountain West Nebraska can't hurt you unless you actually put them in the Mountain West.
But I beat them. I did play that game, actually. That was the only game I played.
And they made it to the title game.
Because I needed to win, and I beat the number 5 team.
They didn't cheat the grind like you did.
But, yeah, man, outside of that, looking forward to ending out summer with, some cool memories. And I'll just leave it at that. Hopefully I'll have some more news coming up. But, yeah. Go ahead, Kenny. Your turn.
Just excited about the season upcoming. The content I've got. Still waiting on if I'm going to get credentialed for this LSU USC game, which is September 1st. Oh, and also today marked 2 years working in the NFL Network for me. I've grown so much in these past 2 years. It's crazy to think about it. Like, this was my dream job that I chased down for like 6 or 7 years. I finally got it. And it's brought a lot of joy into my life. I've got a chance to shake hands with people and work with really talented people who also, in turn, they see my college football work and my work and my grind outside of that building, and they respect it, and they honor it. And I'm thankful, like, I think all things do happen in due time. And, like, I don't know, like, you gave me this shot at 24, how I would handle things. I feel like I'm the perfect kind of mature to handle my life the way it is now. And I'm thankful for that. And I'm thankful for the people in it. Shout out to my mom. She just came back from being in Oakland, taking care of my grandma for 3 weeks. Shout out to my sister Chelsea, who is getting a crash course in motherhood every day because my nephew is putting it on her ass. Let me tell you, children really do tell you about yourself. Like, and sometimes when kids do shit, you got to remember, I have to be the emotionally mature one in the situation. I can't go like petty for petty with my kid or my nephew or my niece. It's beautiful. Like, children really tell you who you are to your face every day. So I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful that a 3-year-old child can humble me as a 32-year-old adult man. I'm thankful for, like, the kids letting us know, like, hey, don't take this shit too seriously, but, like, kind of take this shit seriously, but, like, hey, give me a juice box. Let me see your phone. Like, you realize as an adult, it's not, once you kind of realize, wow, you got dicked. That was your fault. You realize as an adult how much of a role you play in the community you live in society. And once you really, realize that and properly give credence to the people who would need someone like you. Like, you didn't have somebody at a certain age, and now you're that person for a person who didn't, who's similar to you. Be thankful that you're in a position that you can be somebody, you can be something to somebody that you didn't have. I think that's really the best part about being an adult. And I'm thankful for that. I truly am. And, yeah, that's all I got.
Hey, man, well, this is Touchdowns and Tangents. We thank you all for listening. Shout out to everyone who messes with us. Shout out to your favorite podcast app where you can find us. Shout out to touchdownsandtangents.com. We're out. Peace.